Hello, hello. We are live. All right, we're going to be diving back into fundamentals and helping Zynkah out with essentially just reinforcing her fundamentals and building out a component library. But let me go ahead and see if she tossed the invite over. Not yet. We'll give her a second. And then I'm going to go ahead and toss this in. Let me switch. Mice. Oh, man. What a long day. All right. It's going to be just work from wake up to sleep. Let's see. All right. Looks good. Let me go ahead and grab the link. I'll toss it in Discord, and we will jump into Zynkah, or the call with Zynkah. What's up? Happy Thursday. It's almost Friday. Hang in there. Oh, man. What a long day indeed, Don. All right. All right. Diving back into the fundamentals with Zynkah. Publish. All right. I think we're good to go. Let me open up Restream chat. All right, cool. Let me change. I forgot to change some stuff on Twitch. We're still waiting for an invite. We got a little bit of time. All right, edit. Change that to software. Game development. So get rid of the tags and do web dev. Web development. JavaScript. CSS. Cool. All right, I think we're good. We'll give Zynkah a couple minutes. And then we'll go ahead and DM her. All right. So also, if you're watching the past broadcasts, keep in mind we do have a hackathon starting on Monday, next Monday. So if you are even a beginner dev and you are ready to try to build a project, even if it's a landing page, we have a mini hackathon going on in our Discord server. You can find that in the link below. But yeah, we'd love to have you. When you get into the Discord, it's just discord.gg/DonTheDeveloper. If you look at the announcements, I actually posted some instructions about the hackathon. But essentially, you just post your favorite GIF in the hackathon sign-up channel. That's it. Just a funny GIF. The cheesier, the better. All right, let me go ahead and DM her and see what is going on. She's probably caught up in her code. All right. Let me pop out some chats. All right, that looks good. That looks good. Then let's pop open Twitch chat. All right, we got to go in. We got to see what's going on. What is Zynkah up to? She probably lost track of time. Okay, I think she's got it. Everyone's summer person. I want to meet more winter people. I don't even know if you guys are hearing this. My Twitch. Oh. Oh, okay. I got it. Hold on. It didn't alert me. Weird.
A specific window instead of screen, then resolution is fine. Yeah. Okay, hold up. Hey, Don.
Hey, what's up?
That's good. Here, let me adjust some of my noises here.
No worries.
Make the music a wee bit quieter and make you a little bit louder. I got too many tabs. Here we go. I think our volume should be similar now. Everyone in chat, tell me what's the sound like.
Yo, how do I sound? I'm gonna go full. Then new.
Everyone says good. All right. Winter's the best once lies. Louder than me? Okay, let me lower you. I gotta lower you again.
All right, no
Bring
worries.
it down a little bit. All right.
And then I think
I
you just
share
gotta
my
share your
screen.
screen. Yeah. So it didn't give me an alert. I was waiting for the alert, and I think that's what was wrong with it.
Oh, yeah, because I invited you like a while ago because I was like, I might as well do it now. That way I don't forget when it gets to 3 o'clock.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, and then push the stream. So I solved one of the problems ahead of time, thankfully. I just had too many divs, and they were causing a mess. So we can move on to a real problem now.
All right, sounds good. I popped in. I saw you were having a JavaScript issue. The page wouldn't load.
Yeah, but it was just because I had all of my stuff in one div and it should have been separated. So, but I fixed it. It's all good. It's all good. Crisis averted.
Okay. All right, I'm glad to hear that. So what are we diving into now?
So what we can do is kind of like what I said originally. I want to make it to where like this page is active on load instead of having to click on it. So I gotta figure out how to do that. And then also like once I figure out how to do that, then once I get a form, I want to make the file so it's active on load. And so like, because what we have right now is everything is just removed. So I guess it kind of dropped me a hint on this before. Here, I can get rid of this console log. Where like down here, we just rendered email data index 0, and that's how we got the first email to pop up here. So essentially I got to do the same thing up here, but I don't have a render email. I got to figure out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just had to turn you down a bit.
And, I was screaming.
Let me just do like a quick shout out. Darren, I appreciate the shout out. And if you guys want to check out, so basically we're streaming with Zynkah. If you want to check her channel out, this is twitch.tv/Zynkah, Zynkah. And I'm probably not going to be answering any questions, but we have a Q&A tomorrow. So, all right, I'm good on my end. Let's go.
All right, cool. So yeah, like so we got to figure out how to make what I did here for the tabs as well. And I know how I did it here. I just have to mimic it. So let's see. So we have a function render email, which is all the content here. I gotta do something like that.
So how are we?
Other pages.
Yeah, what is causing it to essentially preload that third column? How's that working for the feature we just worked on?
Well, we have the column with all the HTML in it. And because I call it before we map over the items here with the index 1, that's why it's showing the first one.
Okay.
So I got to figure out how to do that. for the pages.
And does it
and
matter
the
that
tabs.
we're calling it before or after we're mapping over?
Wouldn't it have to be before?
Why?
Maybe I'm just thinking too much in terms of CSS. Like JavaScript doesn't have to be in a specific order, does it?
Well, it might. But so below, we are building up the email list. On our page, what is the email list?
On our page, what's the email list?
So line 39. What is that email list doing?
It's mapping over all the data that I have here, which is what we're doing the fetch here for the JSON that we made here.
Yeah, so it's building out the second column, right? So we are calling render email before we're mapping that out. Are those two, like, is the order of how we execute that? Does it matter? Can we call render email after we build out the second column?
After we build out the second column?
Yeah, because render email is filling out the third one essentially, right?
Yeah, and this right here is the second column.
Yeah, so I don't think the order matters, right? Because we're just building out the second column. That third column could be built out no matter what. That could be built out before we build out the list. So the order of render email in that dot then does not matter.
So I don't have to put it here first, then I can just put it anywhere. So I would have to
Well, and I don't think what we went over is going to really be that much of a clue on how to render out your entire page based off of the tab that's loaded. But, well, I guess it is, because what we did with render email was we separated it out into an entirely different function. We can call render email whenever, right? So we're calling it initially when we get the data back. And we're also calling it when we click on one of those list items. But it's a separate thing that is rendering out the page. So I just want to emphasize, like, JavaScript, the order of JavaScript does matter, but it does not matter in the case that you just mentioned. So
in this specific situation, okay.
Yeah. And so maybe that means we extract out, like, we might not need to, right? You don't always need to extract it out into a function. And maybe you shouldn't this time. But we have to create extra functionality to be able to actually render out that page. And if we are stuck rendering out the page on the on-click of one of our tabs, we probably have the functionality to render out that page. And if we do extract it out into a function, we can call that function whenever we want. Meaning when we do load, the entire page, you want mail to be selected. If we extracted it out into its own function, we could go ahead and render that out at any point of our JavaScript process.
So I should create a function like a render first function, and I could use that maybe for both mail and for profile.
Yeah,
No?
well, so I would even don't try building out something reusable to tackle the loading the profile first. We can always change our function and allow it to be a little bit more reusable down the road. But let's just focus on the functionality of mail being loaded and the page of mail being loaded, and then we can decide if we can reuse that or not.
Yeah, I'll start here first. Well, I was thinking, okay, so we have the pages, and then we have selected page. So when I click on it, what if I did like a const active page? And maybe I could select like if page ID equals male. Maybe.
Okay. Go ahead and continue writing that out. Let's run with it.
All right, let's give it a try.
By the way, I'm gonna get a temperature reading. So I hopped into your stream, and how are you liking JavaScript today?
Today?
Yeah, today.
It's stressing me out a little bit, especially since I haven't really working with much JavaScript lately. I've been doing a lot of like CSS and styling and animation. So like hopping back on this after 2 weeks, I'm like, all this is horrible.
Yeah,
but
wow.
I need to do it. I need to get better at it. Yeah, 2 weeks of like not touching this code base or like really any JavaScript at all, essentially. So I've just been doing like making the site mobile ready, essentially. So it's just CSS for the most part, like the last 2 weeks.
Okay. Yeah, like
So
even 2
this has been
weeks.
something, but I'm getting there.
You can start getting a little rusty with JavaScript. Definitely keep up with it. If your work isn't pushing you through JavaScript, that's going to be like your number one marketability thing for a front end dev. So if you're not working on it at work, like even if we take a break 1 week, you got to keep up with it. I know it's frustrating, but you got to keep up with it.
Yeah, I know. I've been trying to do like the boot.dev and stuff like that and staying up on it. It's just been really, really busy the last week, you know. And also like we didn't have any power at all for like the longest time. It's just now back on.
Damn, that's rough. All
Yeah.
right, cool.
But yeah, we're getting. I get more stuck on it. Like I said, I will get better at this. I will. It's a mission of mine. It's something I will do.
Glad to hear
Just
it.
getting to that part is what's annoying, but that's okay.
Yeah. Well, let's make it. Let's keep pushing forward. We're gonna solve some things. We'll make it fun today.
So pretty much, like I said, I guess it'd be like, so if page ID, this is what I'm thinking. It's probably all wrong. Page ID equals male.
I'm just gonna refresh the page.
Then active page class list.
Can you go ahead and? Oh, never mind. I got it.
Active.
I see again.
That's what I want to do, but I know that's not right. Yeah, it's not
So what
right.
are you doing with that code?
I want it to be like if the page ID equals male, right? Which that should be
So
the page ID.
okay. So if the page ID equals male, can you go back to the JavaScript? It's lagging a bit, so it's waiting. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, because I don't know if our internet's fully back and rolling. Like,
No worries.
but it seems like we're still here. Okay.
All right, so we are getting a document get element by ID. So essentially, with an active page, we are determining if the current active page if that element. Here, let me just read through this. Hold on. Show page. We get a page ID. For each, so we're going through the tabs essentially, or no. We're removing the active status or the active class of the page. And then, oh my God, it's so blurry for some reason. The active page, we're getting the active page, and I guess feel free to keep running with this for a few minutes. I don't think this is going to work. I think I'm getting an idea of like how you are selecting the active page, but essentially, so I think what's happening with your code is you basically have a bunch of divs, and you are just toggling an active class on all of those divs based off of like the on click. You probably call show page, so you have a show page function that then will display all like the actual page that you want. You pass in that page ID. It sounds like we kind of have the functionality. Oh, hold on. The page disappeared. Are you still there? I think we lost Zynkah. Oh no. There's a big storm going on right now, so we'll let her reconnect. Hey.
Issues. I don't know if it's my internet or what's going on.
Can you hear me?
I hear you now.
Okay, we're back. Nice. Okay, so I don't know where I left off, but essentially, I'm not sure what we're doing with active page, but it sounds like, so remember, when we had render email, that is our function to go ahead and render out that column, right? And so it sounds like show page is something you built to go ahead and render out that page. So, we might be able to reuse show page. We might have to change it a little bit, but ultimately we are probably going to call show page at a certain point in our JavaScript code that where it'll actually render out the page we want. And we just pass that ID in. So I'm just trying to think about like what I want to give you a hint on. Okay. Here's what I want you to think about it for a few minutes. I want you to think about how and when we call render email, because we solved this in just a different part of the website. How and when do we call render email to display the information? And remember, we're calling it in multiple scenarios. And we probably need to replicate that and do something very similar with show page.
So I got show page. I already have the function here. Let me get rid of this because this is not correct. So yeah, like we have render email. We're passing email data. Here we have show page and it's passing page ID. The email data, we have all the HTML. Do I need to move the HTML into here? No, there's no way. For like the...
Well, we don't need to touch render email.
Yeah, like for this, there's no way. This would stay here, right? Or do I need to move it in here like this?
Walk
and have
me
it
through,
show page.
Walk me through how show page is called and when it's called.
So show page, when the page first loads, it takes all the ones that have the page us.
Well, let's start from the beginning. Let's not talk about what show page does. Let's talk about when show page is called. My headset reset. Okay, now I can hear again.
So show page is called in my tabs. Here, let me open it up. Here. So when I click it, it makes the mail active. When I click it, it makes the dashboard active. At the beginning, they're all inactive. It removes the active of all of them. And then once I click it, then it makes that one active on the on-click.
Yeah. So I don't think we need to touch the functionality of show page. I think show page is doing exactly what it needs to do. And I think show page is doing, it's doing exactly what it needs to do. And we can reuse that functionality we're basically just calling show page at a different point in our execution. So kind of like we called render email at multiple points, we had an on click with render email, and we also called it when we initially got that data back, right? We just reused that function. We're just reusing show page and tossing in the proper ID to be able to get it to set that active status. But we need to call show page at a different point as well. Basically when the page loads.
Yeah. That's what I want. So yeah,
think through it a bit. Feel free to experiment.
Yeah, I want the show page to show mail. Here. I wouldn't put it anywhere in here, right? It would have to be in the script.
Yeah, we're going to write something in the script. So what I like to do is think about like, okay, let's go to your HTML document. Sorry, your actual browser. Should have been more specific. Okay, so let's go ahead and click the refresh button. Okay. So we don't even need hashtag mail. Let's go ahead and delete that from the URL.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just something to link on to the ID and basically scroll down to where that location is. Okay, so when we click the refresh button, when the page loads, we want the mail tab to be selected, and we want the mail page to load, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I want it on load to select the mail.
Okay. So we essentially have two tasks, I think. Well, actually, show page, you're saying, does show page set an active status for the navigation, or is it for the content as well?
Show page is only for the navigation, if I understand that correctly.
Show
The show
page.
page is only used here in the tab list. It's not used anywhere else.
Can I go ahead and look at that script again and the show page function? Okay. All right, so show page, essentially we... so I don't think it's actually changing here. It's like, I think we have two functionalities. Show form tabs for each. Can you break down line 27 through 29?
Yeah, this tab stuff is actually for my form tabs.
Okay.
So, because as I showed you before, I also have tabs here. So I just made tab. I just mimicked it because I was like, well, it works for page. So I should be able to make it work for this too.
Okay. So let's go ahead and just focus on where we need to call show page. So again, let's go back to our homepage in our browser. Yeah, so when the page loads, what function do we need to call?
Show page.
Yeah. So let's make it happen. When the page loads, we need to invoke that function in our script.
I know, yeah, there's like on load, so like JavaScript page load event.
What's up, Renee? And what's up, everyone? Scott, how you doing? Rainer.
I don't think that's gonna be helpful.
So, yeah, I think this is actually a really simple solution. We do not need that on load because we are... So where are we calling our JavaScript script? Where are we loading it in our HTML document?
It should be on the bottom. Let me see here. Yeah, it's down here.
Cool. So we're basically loading that script and executing all the code in that script at that point, right? So we kind of have on that page load. When that script is called, we can write code to execute. So we don't need...
like I can put show page here.
No, we don't need to change line 1048. I'm just saying that we're just loading the script and it's executing all of our code in script.js. So we already have the functionality of running that code on that page load, essentially. So let's go back to our script.js.
So I just need to put it in here.
Yeah. All of this code gets executed when that JavaScript code or when that script gets imported and run.
So I could just call it whenever.
Yep.
I wanted to show
Go ahead.
the mail page.
Okay, so how are we? Yeah, let's make it happen. What parameter does show page take?
Page ID.
Mm-hmm. What's the ID of the mail page? Remember, page
It's
ID
mail.
is a... Yeah.
Yeah, it only exists inside here. But
Well,
do I
so
need it
what?
to be in quotes?
What is the data type of page ID?
What's the data type of page ID? Let's see.
Is it an object? Is it an array? Is it a number? Hold on, before you even do it, don't even test it. Don't look at your console. We could do this without looking at your console. So, page ID. How are we getting page ID when we're calling show page before? So we're calling show page on the onClick. Let's just go to index.html.
Yeah, my page ID is the ID that's assigned to the class of page.
Let's just go to where we're calling show page. Go ahead and open that. Okay, so we have an onClick of show page. What do you see show page? What is that data type?
Show page, what's in here? It's just string.
It's a string, so we are using a string. Now let's go back to our script. So we don't need to do type of. We know it's a string. So let's go ahead and get rid of line 17. Cool. Now let's go back to line 24. So you had asked a question, do I need quotes? Yes, because we're passing in a string, right? Because anytime we're invoking a function, we are passing the data we want through to that function, and show page requires a string. So that is why we need those quotes for mail.
So now it should, as it is, it's loading exactly what I want, which means I also could this should work too. We'll see. Oh my God. It works.
Yo, let's go. Now I do think we have a bug though. If we reload the page, I think we have a bug. Oh, I see.
Let me get back to the main page.
Okay.
What's
so it looks like our mail tab is not selected, and we want that selected.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's not up here in the URL. It's just appearing.
Let's put it in the URL. I'm wondering if you have functionality to just set it up. Okay, yeah. So it still doesn't select it. So we got to figure out how to select that tab. Because when we load the page, if we're going to load the mail, we got to let the user know that you're on the mail page.
How do I do that?
Good question. Play around with it for a few minutes.
So when I select it, it gets element by ID, causes it active, and then show. Come on. Why? I have to fix all this. As you can see, it's so ugly. Why does it not do it on load?
What I like to look at is we have, let's go to the HTML page. Let's go to the browser HTML. If I say I gotta think about how I want to word that. So we have the proper behavior here. We have the mail tab highlighted. How does that mail tab get highlighted?
When I click it.
Okay. So we want to replicate that behavior, but we want to do it on load. But let's go ahead and search out that behavior in our script. So like you said, when I click on it, so maybe we got to look for maybe a click event, and that's where somehow it's highlighted. Let's find that.
Yeah, so when I click it, it gives it the class of active. And then, hold up. It's this one right here. An active gives it the display of block. But
Active.
also...
So let's stay on our script for a second.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and unhighlight that because it's very blurry. Okay. So I see where you are getting the selected page, and you're adding the active class. Let me just read through this. Pages. Can you open up? Okay, I think show form tab. Can you open up lines 2 through 10? Okay. So we're adding a bunch of event listeners. So lines 2 through 10, for some reason I thought show page had the functionality of setting the active tab, and it doesn't. But we basically have the functionality of setting that mail tab as having an active class. So it gets highlighted in lines 2 through 10. So we probably need to figure out how we can do certain parts of that functionality, but when the page loads. Or, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to leave it open-ended like that. I want you to think through this because there are a few different ways to do this, and one is an extremely easy solution. And I don't want to talk more than I need to steer you away from that easy solution.
So currently what we have, it takes the A's of the tab list, and if I click on it, then it will give it that active class.
Yeah.
Which should give it like the highlight. And then it's got the show page event target hash. Like my friend helped me with this part, obviously. So I don't even think I know what hash is technically. I'll have to look that up. So here, I'll just take this whole thing and Google it.
I think I would have to look at your HTML, but it's probably overcomplicating it a bit.
Yeah. So we're listening to the event, we're targeting it, and then whatever hash means. And then we're going to slice it in by the first index.
So can we go to the HTML?
The first item.
And can you show me the navigation? Okay.
The tab list, and here's the A tags.
All right. So we have the tab list, and we have mail. So we have an on-click of show page. Gotcha. So we just want an active class on mail when it loads, right?
Yes.
How can we do that without going back into the script.js file? Because we're so used to setting things in JavaScript. Do we need to set things in JavaScript to do that?
I could give it a class of active here.
Why not?
No, I could, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and here, let's go to this. let's also comment out this to see if it's actually doing what I want it to do. You know, it doesn't work.
Well, I think it does. Why not?
Because when I load the main page, mail's not active.
Because you just commented outline 24. Of course it's not going to work.
Oh, I thought the class was overriding that.
No. So show page is setting a different class to the content div, but your active class on the nav is a completely different element. So we were doing two things. We wanted to highlight the mail. Yeah, we were doing two things. We wanted to highlight the mail tab and have an active class on that. And then we wanted to have an active class on the content div below that.
But it's not showing up here.
What do you mean it's not showing up there?
Oh, never mind. This whole time I was thinking something totally different. You were just talking about this.
Yeah.
I'm such a dunce. Don't listen to me. I get it now. So I could kind of do the same thing for profile.
Yeah, you could.
Let's go find it again.
Yeah, I say with something like this, don't overcomplicate it. And if we need to build some more complexity into it and we got to do it all through JavaScript, we can do that down the road if we need to, but let's not overcomplicate it.
Pretty good at that. I don't think I have the active class for this, though, because I think this is something different. Is it? Show tab form. No, it should be the same, because it's pretty much the same. It's an A tag. Maybe it's just something in the CSS. It's gotta be.
Give me a sec. I'm just gonna post a pinned comment because I have people just asking me random questions.
Go for it. Yeah, if you want to catch up with chat while I have brain problems, go for it.
You're good. You're good.
Yeah, that's the problem.
All right, I'm good on my end.
Okay. So yeah, this only has a block around it when I click on it, which is not what I want.
I think it's what's going on?
I think I did something wrong here. Is why this is not showing up. It only shows up when I click on it, which is not what I want. So I'm looking at my component tab list here versus my form tab list. Trying to figure out. Yeah, see, I have it fixed because I did something wrong.
Guys, thank you for the follows.
Let's see here. So they're divs. Maybe that's the issue. Let's see here. Yeah, where this is like lists. Should I just make these lists too? Would that fix my problem? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, I could try.
So catch me up. Why is that happening?
So active is just when I click it instead of being like when it's actively selected.
Okay.
And I think that might be because I have a div and not an li. Does that make sense?
Well, I mean, whether we have an li or a div, you know, the active is going to be when we are engaging with that element, where we kind of just want to do it like we did with the tabs, where we are toggling a class.
Yeah, the A and then hover and then active, and that changes the background color to the one I have set. I don't even know why I set all these things here. I'm just move this over because it shouldn't be that complicated anyway. That's boxy and ugly. I take it back. Why is it different? Oh, you know what I think it is? Yep. Easy fix.
Okay. Oh, wait, can you go back to CSS? I think I just misread it.
But hold up. Yeah, no, this fixes that problem, but it doesn't fix the other problems.
Gotcha. Okay. So you are actually changing the active... So you're toggling the active class on the form navigation?
Yeah, I'm trying to change this now, but that's not right. It gives active to the first one, but that's not what I want. Like, I want it to be like that, yeah, but when I click on the other one, I want it to change.
Can you click on another one for a second?
Yeah.
Okay.
It just stays that one active.
Yeah, so we got to figure out the functionality of... Because it looks like we're toggling a class potentially, but we got to trace that functionality down to see, you know, what's going on.
For sure. So this is only selecting the component tab list. That's the problem. Isn't it? I would have to make another one for the tab list I have here, tab form tabs.
Okay.
Because this is only for these guys up here.
Well, how are we even getting that active class on profile? Did we manually set it in the HTML? I forgot.
I did.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So yeah, you know, we have two parts. We've done this 2 times already. We have 2 parts where we gotta change the page, which you are already loading the correct page for the profile. But we gotta finish out the functionality with the tab changes and toggling the active class. So I want you to like look. You were heading in the right direction, but basically how we solved this with the other navigation is probably how we're going to solve this with this.
Yeah, I essentially have to do exactly what I'm doing here, but for form tabs A instead. Is there a way I can do it to both? Like, can I put both in there? Or would it have to be? No, because it's doing query selector of that. I couldn't do like also like a query selector of this as well. They'd have to be separate, right?
Well, here's what I like to do is I think you should build something separate to do it. I think going through that will help you. And then we can look at those 2 functions and see, can we combine them in some way? And that's another good exercise.
All right, I can't name it tabs again because it's already that, so it would have to be like form tabs.
Have you taught coding before? I see your message icon. Thanks for being patient. Yeah, I've been mentoring people for years.
Would it be fun. Query selector all? Would it be better to do get element by class? Because the other one's kind of vague, right? Can you still hear me, Don?
I can.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's go line by line and test it out and see if we're getting the proper elements. Let's just test it and see if we selected it correctly.
All right. I guess I would just console log. Oh my God, stop being like this.
I hate when it autofills like that. Just one misspelled letter.
Right? It's like, chill out.
Okay, so we have an HTML collection. It looks like we are not targeting it correctly, so that is a very first step we need to fix.
That's what it's called, right? Form. Hold up. Form tabs. Would it be div A? No. Maybe this is a problem.
Well, let's copy and paste that and look up the documentation. Let's see what argument it needs. Okay. I like to jump right to the example initially. Okay. So it looks like the very first example is what we want. Get elements by class name, and we're just passing in a string. It's just letters. It's just our class name. Are we doing that here?
I have to get rid of the A.
Well, let's look at the entire string on line 26. Go ahead and just spell it out. What argument are we passing into form tabs? Yeah, there we go. So we got rid of the period as well.
Can I keep the A then?
Let's try it.
Let's see.
So it looks like we do not have a collection. So remember, like, and you could just look at the, you can look at the method. It's, oh, okay, so we're doing form tabs and we get the container. But when it says class name, just kind of think about, let's move DevTools a little bit so we can see the code. Get elements. Okay. Get elements by class name. So get elements tells us we're going to get a collection, and by class name tells us we got to give a singular thing. Now, the way query selector works is it looks at, you can toss in classes, you can toss a space class name, and then keep digging into the children within that. You could basically just toss a selector, whether it's a class name or not, into query selector, and it just does magic and it finds the elements. Now, when we do get class or get elements by class name, we're probably targeting just a class name. We don't have the flexibility that query selector gives us, which is completely fine. If we have a bunch of elements that we want to create on clicks for, they just need a class name for us to target that. So what I would look at is in your HTML, what is the structure of that? What elements of that sub-navigation have a class name?
The A tag.
Yeah, so we want to target the A. And it looks like we don't really have a class on that A, so we can't target it directly.
That's the problem, because these have a class of page. I would have to give this like a class of tab, or form tab would probably be better.
We could give it a class name, but I say we just kind of reuse what we did with the main navigation, and we use query selector.
Okay. Keep it simple.
Yeah. We can always change it down the road if needed.
Do I need to do the period now? What's the purpose of the period here?
So that, because query selector is trying to be flexible and accept, like, are we looking for an HTML element, an ID, etc. The period tells query selector that we're looking for a class.
Okay, I see.
All right, looks like we're getting it.
Yeah, I'm getting a node list of a bunch of A's here. Hopefully that's what I want.
That is
active,
what you want.
which is the first one, and then we have the other 4 A's in the list.
Mm-hmm. So we have our links.
What I want to do.
Go ahead.
Now I want to do is not just console log it, but I want to give them the class of active when they're clicked, instead of just how it is now when the first one has it. So I would have to for each through them all again. And we can just do the tab and the I again. I don't see why not.
Cool.
Let's see here. And then tab. We're going to add event listener when it's clicked. No, just click. And then the event. So I'm just mapping through them again, or for eaching through them again every time I click on them.
Yeah, you're looping through all of them again every single time a tab is clicked. That is correct.
Mm-hmm. Tab classes, J.
Why
And
J?
then, I don't know, because this is J. Isn't it J, I, and J like kind of always like what people do?
Why?
Because that's what I see in every example. I don't know why. I just see it in all the examples that way.
Okay, so we chose the letter J, but what is J? What does it represent?
It's just the iteration, like the index, essentially.
Yes. Yeah. So,
but we can't use I again.
Well, because we might. The reason why he chose J instead of I is because we might want that initial index, and we don't want to override it necessarily. But it's just good to know, like, why are we using J or a different letter?
Yeah, because they have to be different. But it's the same thing, essentially.
Yeah, it's just an index of a inner loop.
I mean, we can make it Z if we wanted to.
We could. Be adventurous and do that.
I think I've had enough adventure for the week.
Fair enough. All right. Keep it J.
All right. So instead of show page, it would be show form tab. Next, so then back here again where it's like, okay, I still don't really know what hash means. Which is frustrating.
Okay, let's pause there. So walk me through what's happening with that code.
So we're going to take all the tabs that are in this query selector.
And what kind of tabs are those?
The form tabs.
Okay, and on line 27, are we targeting what we just gathered?
Ooh.
Because this can happen when you're just kind of copying code.
I see. It needs to be grabbing form tabs.
You got it.
It would have taken me 30 minutes to realize that.
And here's what I would like you to do, and I think this is going to make this a little bit more clear. Instead of just having tab, let's go ahead and replace that with form tab. So on line 28, on line 28, you see where it says tab? Let's call that form tab. Let's be very explicit because we are looping through a ton of different tabs, and this is going to be a separate portion of the code. Let's be very explicit what is happening here and what we're targeting.
Yeah, so I don't look at this in 2 months and be like, well, what did I do here? Like I did today.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Now it works.
Okay.
Awesome.
Pretty cool. Now, so it is working. This is awesome. Now the next step, what if we can combine, like create a function that we just, how much do I want to give away? Let's create a function. So lines 1 through 10 and lines 26 through 35. We're looping through the main navigation. We're looping through the form navigation. Can we create a function that will do essentially either or both whenever we want to execute that? Can we combine that code to make it a slightly more generic where we just basically toss in a list of tabs or something like that, and it sets an active tab? Can we do that?
You would think I'd be able to, because we're repeating ourselves when we shouldn't be repeating ourselves.
Yeah, quite a bit. I think we can
So-
create a generic function that just is like set active tab or something like that. And then
So
it needs to
pretty much
take
what we
something, and we got to figure out, where do we... Yeah, I'll let you just run with it.
Because this here and this here are almost identical. The only difference is the variable that we have created that is selecting it. So if this, I can create a function where like this is just pluggable, then it should work.
I like it.
So it would have to be like function, what would we call it? Show active tab. And then here we would need tabs and form tabs. And then essentially...
So we don't need to pass in both. Let's just make it so the function show active tab, it just takes a list of tabs and it removes active classes and it adds an active class. And what we could do is basically we can gather those different... So we're going to have two lists of tabs. We're going to have tabs and we're going to have form tabs outside the function. We gather those tabs outside the function. And then show active tab, or we could call it like set active tab or something like that, is going to just, no matter what list we give it, it's going to go ahead and set the active tab and remove the active class from tabs that don't need it. So it's just going to take in one list of tabs. So your functionality was correct. Let's bring back the functionality. Sorry, I'm blanking. Did we even start writing the functionality for line 15?
No, not yet.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, because essentially I would have to have what's in here, but the only difference is that these would be like the pluggable parts.
Yeah.
Which would be what I pass here.
You got it.
But what am I going to name it? Tab list?
Sure. You name it what you like. I like it.
And then essentially it'll be this, but instead it would be tab list. And then I have to find a way it's going to be tab lists. Where's the other one? Oh god, I messed it up.
Line 17. Right. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just gonna write it.
No worries.
Instead of copy paste, because otherwise I'm gonna probably just make it slower by trying to figure it out. I'm gonna make this tab lists. Make that tab lists. There we go.
Well, it's just a tab list.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we'll just make the thing in here, like we'll just make a tab.
Like it.
Okay. Cleok. Jesus Christ. All right, and then there'll be event.
If you really want to get practice with this, it's probably... So let's pause here for a second.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people have this misconception that like writing it out as you're looking at other code is going to help reinforce it, and it really doesn't. It doesn't really build that muscle memory like you think it would. I think what is helpful, if you're going to write all this out again, I would not look at lines 4 through 12 and then figure it out again. That's what's going to reinforce it. So, yeah.
We'll make it small.
All right.
So this, we're going to take the tab classes and we're going to remove them first.
Yeah, you got it.
Dot remove of the active. And then we got to bring it back.
Cool. I like it.
Or just add, right? The colors are all wrong. We know what that means. What did I do wrong?
So remember, we're only adding the active class to one tab. How do we get that tab element?
How do I get that tab element? Okay, so I have the for each. Which then we go to tab and then tab, add event, click, event. Event's not being used. Okay, we're not there yet.
This is good.
Oh, I see. I don't need to grab tab classes.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Almost. And here's how you do it. You think through it, you test it. If it's not working, well, I mean, technically we're not going to call this function, but okay.
Yeah, I want to grab tab, the individual one.
Yeah, so, and yeah, and when you get stuck, so when you're rewriting it and you get stuck, you think about it for 5 minutes, then I think, you know, if you do need a reference and you go back to the old code just to see, oh yeah, I got to do this, I think that's a little bit more helpful. But yeah, I believe that's what you were doing. You could double check. I actually forgot, but.
I see here. So we got, yeah, that, and then tab classes, class. Why is this not purple? I don't like that. What did I do wrong? Is it just because I didn't finish it yet?
No, I think it's fine. I don't know why it's not purple.
I hate when it does that to me. It plays mind games. Yeah, not purple means malware. Exactly, Ramton.
Oh no.
Something's wrong. Okay. So instead of calling show page.
Well, we're going to need show page.
But if I use show page, then how would that work when here, where's the other one? Show tab form.
Oh, that's true. Okay. This is awesome. So we're going to have to change our function just slightly to accommodate that. Because we're going to need to basically call different functions at the end.
Yeah. Oh God, how do I call different functions at the end? Okay. I would have to like pass the function as a parameter, right?
We could do that. Yes.
But I don't know. What would I call it?
Naming is tough.
Naming is the hardest part. It really is. I swear. Tab function? That's not right. I'm missing something.
So one thing you got to realize, so we're just passing a function into a function. Yeah, we're just passing the function. We're not invoking it. We got to invoke it within the function.
And then here is when I'll have the event target dot hash. Oh, and Marinina told me what hash means, so I finally know what it means.
Here's what I would do is I would console log out the show page hash at line 10 and just see what we're getting from that. Do you know what we're getting?
Wait, console out show page.
Yeah. Line 10. Can we go to line 10, the end of the line?
Line 10. This one.
Let's go to the end of the line. Put your cursor. No. Let's bring that back. Okay. Let's put our cursor at the very end of line 10 after the semicolon. Put the cursor at the end. You click
at the
on
end?
it. Yeah. After the semicolon.
After.
Hit enter. Console log out that hash. Slice.
Okay, I see
what
what you're saying. So console log just the hash?
Yeah, why not?
That slice?
Well, is that going to work?
No. Just console log the hash?
Well, hash isn't a thing.
Yeah, because he told me hash is just like the hashtag, essentially.
Let's look at line 11. Does the variable hash exist?
No.
Okay, so we're not doing anything with line 11. We want to console log out what we're trying to get with line 10. It's event target hash. Hash on the target. Okay.
You want the whole thing?
Well, we could just try the hash. We could do slice. If we want to figure out like what hash is, let's figure out what it is.
Okay. Move this over. So yeah, It's just the hashtag that they have on the thing. So it's hashtag mail. It'll be hashtag dashboard.
Let's go ahead and go to let's go ahead and go to the documentation for event target hash.
Maybe W3 has it. Sometimes they have useful stuff.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Target, tag name. All we have is just target. Let's go to MD.
So, never mind.
Will you give me more specifics? No. Googling is annoying sometimes.
So, event target property web APIs MDN. Let's go to that. It's where it says Mozilla Developer.
This one, right?
Yeah. So we have the target. Let's go ahead and scroll down. I forgot if we went through this. Tom standard, browser compatibility. So attribute, instance methods. So related pages for here. Let me just look this up. Your thing is lagging a bit. Okay. Trying to because I wanted to get you to look this documentation up, but it's kind of like just a unused property for the most part. What's that?
So Ram got me with a link here.
Okay.
Nice. So property returns a string containing a hash followed by the fragment identifier of the URL. So, for example, this would be there, which would be right here.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
So hash, it's just grabbing whatever has the hashtag and then the word after it.
Wait, did the target ad really show up? Yeah, the target ad.
Target ad?
Yeah. I don't know if it popped up. Maybe when you looked up to, I don't even know where it popped up. Hey, what's up, B? Thank you.
Are you to my hair?
Yeah.
Am I just doxing myself?
Apparently.
It's all right. I'm not worried about it.
I don't think it gave your exact location.
I've doxed myself so many times. I'm not.
Oh,
worried.
really?
If anyone was gonna come, they would have already came.
So we have, yeah. So essentially, it's just a hash and the URL, and that's what's happening with it. And so when we do a slice, what is that gathering?
Yeah, that's exactly what you're saying here. It's like when you slice off one, why would you want to do that?
Well,
because I only want to slice off the first word, right? Wouldn't that make sense?
Well, what is slice doing? So here's the tricky thing. Do we have that hashtag for the form? So if we open up a form tab, do we have that? So we know we're looking for that hashtag in the URL.
Good point.
But I don't know if this is going to work how we have it.
I mean, why wouldn't it? They have also hashtags here in the form.
Can you go ahead and load that in the browser? Just show me. So we're deleting that hashtag when we do click that, which, I mean, yeah, I guess it's fine. Honestly, yeah. Yeah, that's completely fine. So I think it would work. But remember, the slice is, you got to remember what slice does. It just basically starts at a certain index. You got to remember, like, you think of a string. If you are going to do a slice, think of a string, like each character is a value in that array. And so if we have a hashtag notifications, that's an array where in index 0, we have a hashtag, index 1, we have an N, 2, we have an O. And so that slice starts, it basically creates a new array starting off at the index that you want to start it off at, which one is past that hashtag. He's basically just stripping off that hashtag.
Okay. I see. Yeah, it just takes the word and gets rid of the hash.
Yeah, and it does that because slice starts off after the hashtag. The hashtag is index 0, and if we started at 1, we start on the first letter after that hashtag, and then we take that afterwards, everything after index 1.
Okay, makes sense. Okay. Now, how is this function ready to use is the next question.
Sounds like we got to try it out maybe.
Yeah. How would I do that now? So I would call the function set active tab, and set active tab, and in there would be, tabs. So for the first one would be tabs, and then it would be show page. And then I'd have to...
we're not invoking the function. Remember, those parentheses, they invoke the function. We want to allow that function to be invoked when we need it to be, not right away. We're just passing
let's go ahead and comment this out just for now so I can see if this works. All right, get rid of notifications. We don't need you This technically works. Why is jumping down to the bottom of the page? I don't know. That I can fix that later.
Okay.
Oh God, everything's so horrible once I put the WebKit into where it actually like stretches with the thing. I have to fix all my components now.
Oh no.
So, but that shouldn't be too hard of a fix. Like I said, at least that's like CSS. I can handle that. It's this JavaScript that is hard. Hey, thanks for the raid. Welcome in, guys. So, yeah, that works. So now all I have to do is do it again.
Real quick before we do the next thing, with functions, typically, like, we can represent, like, if we're creating a class, you might have a capital S, but in general, you want functions to start with a lowercase letter. It's going to be camel case. Yeah. Yeah.
When in all capital, that's Pascal, right? Or am I got that wrong?
You mean like all caps, like SET is caps?
No, like each first letter is capital. It's called Pascal, right? Or am I tripping?
I don't know.
I forgot.
I don't.
When I think Pascal, I just think Nier Automata.
I don't know what that is either.
Here. It's a video game. You don't know it? It's like one of the best JRPGs.
Is it like an anime one?
Kind of looks like an anime. It's like a bunch of android girls and robots, and the world's ended.
Listen, I play World of Warcraft. I don't know if that's my type of game, so I don't know it.
All right, so let's do the second. We'll move on from Nier.
Okay. Sounds good.
We'll do it again. And this one's going to be form tabs. And it's going to say, what do we have down here now? Show form tab. Did I break it?
Mm-hmm. Now we get to debug it.
So it still works if I click on it, but it doesn't work anymore when I do onload, how we had originally. This is the issue.
Every time your page breaks because of JavaScript, you should be opening up that console and seeing what's happening.
I see. I need to pull it up.
You got it.
Let's cut you out here and put you right there. Success. All right, now we can get rid of all this redundant code. And we can do something similar to what I did with the show page. And here, we got to get rid of this too. Get out of here. No longer needed. So show page and show form are two more that we could simplify because they do the same thing essentially. Except for this one's page. No, it's tab, right?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah. So.
But here's what I like to do. Let's scroll up a bit. So we have tabs and form tabs. Set active tab. Hold on. Never mind. Nope, we're fine. Let's condense show page. But there was a weird behavior happening where it was jumping, right? And we didn't want it to jump. You had an issue with that?
Yeah. I fixed this in the other project before, so I know I've already found the solution before. I just forgot it off the top of my head. Did
we cause this bug today, or was that a thing?
To be honest, I don't remember.
Okay. Can you bring back the code that you deleted? The 2 sections of code outside the generic function. And let's comment out our set active tab, like lines 15 through 28. Let's comment that out. Okay. And let's just revert that.
Yeah, I was still doing it. Well, let me refresh the page to make sure. Because this is a problem I've solved before, so I'm pretty sure I could do it again.
Okay. Yeah, when you're leading ID, you got to keep in mind when you load up an ID, it's going to jump to that element, and that's what's happening. So if you have a hashtag in the
So yeah, the hashtag is just taking it to this whole area down here. Is that, I know I fixed it before. It's an easy fix. It's not something that I'm
Okay.
too worried about.
Cool.
For the most part, like refactoring this right now, kind of, hold up, get rid of this. Yeah, refactoring these two into one is kind of what I want to finish off with.
Okay.
They're asking what frameworks. We're not using any frameworks, chat. We're using 0. That's the challenge.
Uh-oh.
That's why it's so hard. So we have 2 different functions doing essentially the same thing. Here, I want to move this down here just so it's out of the way so we can really compare these two and what they're doing. The only difference is what we're selecting and then what we're for eaching, essentially.
Okay.
So I could once again, hold up. This one's a little different. Yeah, this one's a little different. So this is still the same. This is still the same. So these are things that could be moved to the top. And this is what would be like the replacement of what's in here, essentially. And then I have these variables as well. Oof. Okay. So let's say, so let's go ahead and do function show. See, it's show page, show tab.
On my screen, I can't. Can you scroll down a little bit? It's hard to see it on my screen.
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot you guys can't see the bottom for some reason. Show active. No, not active. Yeah, show active or set active. And I said it could be a tab or page, so I could probably just leave it to set active. And then it could be, oh God, names are hard. Because it's tab and page. I'm trying to think of something that like groups them both together, essentially. George. I guess we'll set it as George will be the name. So we got tab ID and page ID. So what if I just do ID? No, that's not good.
What are we doing?
I'm trying to think what, because like we got tab list, which makes sense because it's just like tab list for different items. This is page ID, form ID, these functions. I'm trying to make one function to run these through.
Yes, we know we're going to pass in the ID, but why is it a capital I?
I don't know. That's a good question.
And so set active.
I think there's
what?
just all ID here, huh? Set active. That's my problem because we got form tabs and show page. What?
Well, it's kind of like you can almost think of like show content, show form content, or show page, or show form page.
Lowercase show content. Yeah, I think show content probably makes the most sense. I have to agree with you. Show content, definitely. And then it would just be content function, I guess.
And we are passing in this function. Why? What are we passing in?
I'm going to get this, put it in here.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially have this, put it in there. Pull these up to the top.
Where is this custom function that we're calling?
Oh, good call. None of this is making sense.
What is content function? What are you expecting to pass in?
I was going to pass in essentially like show page and show form tab. But that doesn't make sense.
I
would
think
have
we're
to-
combining show page and show form to just
Yeah.
have the same functionality. So the
So
reason
it would
we
be
passed
tabs
in
and pages.
so the reason we passed in a tab function was because we called it on line 11. I don't think we're passing in a function to then call it at the end of the generic function we are creating. We don't have that. We're not calling tab function and tossing in some hashtag.
So I won't need it.
No, you won't
I
need
don't
it.
need it. I don't need it. I can get rid of here. And essentially, yeah, so what I would do, okay, I think I got it. I think I got it. ID maybe for each. And that's where it's like, what do I call this now? Because I had pages, page, tabs, tab.
Yeah, so we're passing an ID in. Is that the only thing we want to pass in? Sounds like we need to loop over something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the
Yeah,
ID.
because like I said, we got, yeah, it's not the ID. Because this is page ID, and it's getting this constant variable, and then I'm mapping over all the things that have the query selector of page.
Yeah, and feel free to reference how we did it before and what we separated out.
Let me make this small so I can see it better. So I'm ignoring function. We have, so it'd be like ID. I could do like ID list. Maybe that'd be easier.
Well, it's not a list of IDs. So I think we're going to need the ID, but we need another parameter that we got to loop over.
The selected ID.
Well,
No.
no, that's where we satisfy that requirement of giving it an ID. What did we extract out of our first function? Let's look at lines 1 and 2.
We pulled the variables out, which we're going to pull these variables out.
So do it.
Now,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to rename this one because it's also named tabs.
Yep.
So this will have to be, I mean, I could just cheap it and call it tab. I'll have to be more specific though, eventually, because so I could do like, what would I would call it? Let's see. Let's see here. So this is for the form tab, but I can't make form tab either because then it's also going to be like weird. I think I'll just keep it tab for now and then I'll get better with names later. Unless you have a suggestion.
I would make it something plural, but like, and I want you to, like, this is a really good, this is just really good to learn. Because we are now extracting this out and we now have several variables, and it's kind of interesting now that we have like tabs, which is already taken, but we're not even targeting the correct, like the same class, or we're not even targeting in the same way. So we basically have, I don't know, it basically starts getting a little bit more confusing when we don't have explicit naming to describe exactly what kind of list we're creating. So yeah, for now, let's go ahead and just store it in something, and then we probably need to name it, be more explicit with how we're naming it so we understand exactly what this list of items is. So we'll do naming a little bit later, but yeah, the very first step was just extracting that out and then passing that into the generic function that we're creating. So we're passing in an ID and we got to pass in a list, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in short, I was basically just saying, like, if you don't do proper naming, then things start getting really confusing.
Yeah, quickly. Thanks for the raid, guys. Welcome in. How's it going? I think a good first start would be really easy to fix if I just made this component tabs.
Okay.
Next, I can quickly change that one, and that would make things a little bit better. Component tabs, yeah, okay. And then we can keep this as tabs for now. Yeah, we'll do that for now, and then we can fix it up a little bit more. But I think that's a good first start. So we pulled them out, and now, hey, Stony Eagle, where you been? That's all right. I forgive you. So pretty much we pulled them out, and now we're gonna do what we did above here. But so now I'm still stuck here because I foolishly made this like just ID. So like, what am I gonna call this now? That's where I'm stuck.
Well, are we even mapping over the correct thing or looping over the correct thing?
Wait a minute. Because ID is supposed to be replacing tab ID and page ID. That's my thought process here.
That is correct.
Mm-hmm.
What data type is ID?
Well, the tab ID and the page ID are referring to strings.
Yeah, can we loop over a string?
No.
Well, so we definitely don't want to loop over this string. Right?
We can loop over a string, but it'll be like each individual letter, which is not what we're trying to do.
Yeah, there are ways to loop over that string to do that. We are not trying to do that. What do we want to loop over?
Over the tabs and the pages.
You got it. So we have two parameters, which is the one we want to loop over.
But we're trying to simplify it.
What do you mean?
Hold up. Like, okay, so like how we have up here, right? We have tab list. Mm-hmm. And then we just replace tab list with these here, down here.
Yes.
And like I said, this was easy because it was tab list dot for each tab, but ID for each. How do I make that shorter than ID?
Well, why are we even messing with ID yet? Do we need it right now?
Maybe I'm just thinking about this. Okay, maybe I should just skip the for.
Look at your old code.
No, yeah, that's right. I don't. Hold up.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm like, my brain is overheating.
No, that's okay. So lines 24 through 26, what are we doing?
They're taking all the pages and they're going through them and removing the active class from all of them.
Yeah.
Which is what I want to do.
Yeah.
Do I just do ID class list remove? No.
So we are so we have two parameters. We are passing in a list. So we're passing in pages, for example. And we want to do for each on that page or pages parameter. So we're not doing it off of the ID, which is a string. We're doing it off of the list. We have a list of items and we want to call for each on that.
Wouldn't list be first in the thingy then?
I don't know what you mean by that.
Wouldn't it be list than ID? I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking about things weird. So we're going to list.
You got to think about like this list. What is this a list of? It's a list of, we call it like elements, for a lack of a better word. Mm-hmm. Because what we're doing is we're taking each of these elements and we're removing a class. So we could just call, maybe if we did like, let's replace list with elements and make it plural. On line 40.
Both of these here?
Yeah.
Or just
both
here? All right, got it.
Yeah.
And then we just do element.
Yep.
And then this is when I would do the add event listener. No, I don't even need to do an add event listener. I would just do class remove, right?
Yeah, so we're just taking the functionality of now like show page and show form tab. Yeah.
And then I would mimic the same thing I have down here. But instead of being selected page, that's where we have another issue again too. Because it's selected page and selected, well, I guess I would just have selected ID.
Well, you're not.
No, selected element.
Yeah, there you go. I think that
Selected
reflects
element.
it accurately.
Yeah.
And can you scroll down a bit? It's hard to see it.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
Thank you.
I'll remember eventually to do that
No
naturally.
worries.
Selected element, and then it would be document dot get element by ID, and then that's when we do the ID.
There you go.
And then it'd be selected elements dot class list. And then quotes. And then I would just be able to call this with the variables like we did before.
Yeah, let's try it.
So instead of being show, well, no, that can stay for now. Show content, tabs, and page. Wait, no, they have to be separate. Wait. Hold up.
Okay, holding.
Doesn't it need 2 parameters since there's passing 2 parameters?
Yep.
So it'd be tabs. It would be tab ID. Tabs, right? No, because tab ID only exists in here. Well, that's stupid. That doesn't make any sense. We got the variable tabs.
Mm-hmm. We're the order of our parameters in our function.
No.
So on line 40, what's the order?
ID elements.
Yes. So what order do we need to pass in those arguments?
No.
Yeah, we got to pass a specific value into our function. But look at what we're doing with line 50. That's the ID, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah, so for the ID, it's going to be male, just like that.
Duh.
There you go.
I swear to God, sometimes, like, I don't know how I got this far.
You're good. I think probably about 15 minutes ago, your brain started shutting off a bit. And what happens is, I'm not like, trying to be a jerk. Like this happens when I'm live streaming. This happens when I'm coding. And there's a point where like things that I feel should be registering aren't. And I usually just take like a couple hour break or approach it the next day. And you're kind of just forcing yourself through it. That's the reality.
Yeah. If I was doing this off stream, I would have gone for a walk and came back. But, on stream, I can't do it. It's like, hey, everyone, I'll be back in 20 minutes. Like, that doesn't really work that way, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So now I can get rid of all this and what's down below because we just simplified the crap out of it. And it should, oh God, did I break it?
Go for a 10-minute chat. What's up, live stream and Stony? How you guys doing?
Oh God, I broke it.
I like if we're replacing certain code with more reusable code, I just like to comment out the code we're replacing rather than delete it. Because I can use that as reference if it has any bugs or anything like that.
That's what I'm going to have to do because I have issues here. Let me get rid of this comments because I know what this does. Just so I can comment out.
Okay.
So, yeah, it completely obliterates the page when I do that. Why?
Well, remember, how do we figure out how JavaScript is breaking? Let's comment it out and replicate it again. Cool.
Show page is not defined. Okay, well, I'll comment that out again. Where's show page now? I must have it somewhere else.
Let's find it.
Oh, hold up. This is the problem. This is the problem. Let's fix it.
Let's do it.
So I will be replacing them with show content. Of course, it's like, that doesn't exist. What are you talking about, lady? What's your problem? All right, here we go. We'll just replace here. And then the other one was show tab, I believe. Show form tabs. Yes.
By the way, this is going to completely break, and then we get...
Oh, no. Why? What did I do now?
Well, I honestly, I forgot about the on-click, but that might mean we need to change things a little bit differently because you put the on-click in the HTML, okay. So.
All right. Revert. We'll
yeah, just make sure you keep your commented code. But we are approaching 5. We should probably in the next 5 minutes kind of create a stopping point and reapproach it next week.
Nice. Yeah, I agree because as we already said, my head hurts. All right, VIP.
We went through a lot.
RAM. Dead. Oh my god. Let's see if I do this right or not. Yeah, no, like, so you're always a huge help. And as I could do all this on my own, but I wouldn't understand a lot of it. I'd be Googling a lot and be like, okay, what's this? What's that? Why is this happening? So you're definitely a big help. Oh, didn't you want to do a shout out?
Oh, yeah. Thank you. So so basically, I have a community full of a bunch of aspiring developers, people trying to become developers. If you are kind of struggling to build a project and get out of tutorial hell, I like to host mini hackathons where we kind of just build for 4 weeks and you're welcome to group with someone else. And it's kind of for accountability. You got to provide updates at least 3 times a week. But essentially, we're just hosting a mini hackathon. It's very beginner friendly. You could just focus on building a landing page where we build for 4 weeks and then we create it, we host it, and I'll give some tips of how you can host it. And then I'll choose 5 people at random that do complete the mini hackathon, and we'll go through your projects and I'll give some feedback kind of from a user-centered point. But yeah, if you'd like to just jump into a project and meet some other people that are coding every single week, please do join us. If you don't mind shouting this out, discord.gg/Don the developer. All you have to do is join the Discord and post the funniest GIF you can think of in the hackathon sign-up channel. That's it. Join Discord and post a GIF, and we will get you access, and we'll get you more information on the hackathon. But that will start on Monday of next week, and we'd love to have you.
I'm copying your Discord link, and I'm going to post it in chat.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Yeah,
it's
really
a GIF, by the way.
It's a GIF.
Did you see the video of the creator? He said it's a GIF.
I don't think I saw any video of saying it incorrectly. It is a GIF.
I mean, GIFs make sense to me too.
Yeah. It has to be GIF. It's not GIF. It's definitely not GIF. It's not GIF. It's GIF. Like GIF.
It's GIF or get the fuck out.
I like it. I like that. He said that.
I did.
Oh, nice. Nice. Quote from Zynkah. That's awesome.
But yeah, awesome.
Yeah, cool. Well, this was
fun.
One
day I'll participate in a hackathon one day when my schedule's not so busy.
Yeah, I know you're really busy. It's tough. Even if you have a full-time job, yeah, it's tough. But my recommendation is still to try to find like, I don't know. You're working hard. I don't think this advice applies to you. How many hours do you put into your current job? I'm just curious. A week.
Usually like 35 to 40 a week.
Okay.
And then I'm also training for all the runs I've been doing. I did a 9K on the 4th. I'm doing a 10K on July 11th. Yeah, like, so I got 8th on the 4th, 8th place. I want to do better. Like, I'm trying to get at least in the top 5. So I'm training like really hard to try to get to that point.
Out of how many people?
It's categorized by age and gender. So in my category, I was 8th, and there was like hundreds of people that showed up. I don't know exactly how many were in just my category, but I think total participants was around 600.
Damn, 8th is good.
So, yeah, I was not too upset about it for my first Texas run because it's hot here. So running in the heat is a little hard. Even 7 a.m. it's hot. You know, running in Washington State was easy because it was like always 60 degrees.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Damn. It's way more than what I can do. Congrats, though. I'm sure you're going to beat your time next time, though.
That's my plan. I'm going to try to do, if not every month, at least every other month. There's another one in September nearby I'm going to do as well. So I'm just doing 10Ks right now, but I would like to boost it up eventually. I just only feel comfortable doing 10Ks right now.
You going to become a marathon runner?
Oh my God, I couldn't imagine doing 26 miles, maybe a half marathon. I ran over 10 miles once before on the treadmill, and that was hard. And that's almost a half marathon. So we'll see.
That's crazy. Well, congrats.
Thank you. Yeah. That's pretty much where I spend most of my free time when I'm not programming. I'm in the gym training for that.
Wow.
So.
Okay. Get my butt in motion after hearing that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I got to get back. I threw out my back again. I got to get back to just my 5K. But I do love running. I really do.
Running is the best.
Yeah,
it's definitely my favorite. But yeah, one day I'll have a more free. And I actually have a pretty healthy social life too. So, you know, like when I'm not here, like usually on the weekend, I'm completely booked from sun up to sundown. So.
That's good.
I don't know. I
Sounds
try
like
to
a balanced life.
Things. Yeah.
Cool.
But I'll do a hackathon one day. Moral of the story. One day.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you letting me shout that out in your community. Your community is pretty cool, so we'd love to have people there. But yeah, we'll tackle this next week. Come back with a fresh mind and dive into it. But we made some progress. Good job today.
Yeah, we got the one challenge I wanted to fix, so we're good to go. Thanks, Don,
awesome.
always.
All
See
right,
you next
you're
Thursday.
welcome. All right, see you later, Zynkah.
Bye. All right, guys, we're gonna.
All right, cool. That's pretty much it. I appreciate people being patient. You know, I can't really interact with chat. The focus is on mentoring her, but hopefully that was helpful. And we created some more problems going in that direction, which is going to be good. We get to debug that later on. And yeah, should be fun. So anyways, thanks for hanging out. If you guys have questions, blockers about becoming a web dev, we will have a Q&A next Friday. And Nima, thank you for the follow. And thank you for all the follows also while we were doing the stream as well. I do appreciate it. But yeah, we're going to have a Q&A, 3 p.m. Central Time tomorrow. So if you're trying to become a developer, that is the time to come in and ask questions. We'll be hosting it on YouTube and Twitch. And then on Monday, we're going to be starting the hackathon. And yeah, we're getting close to it. So sign up on Discord, post your favorite funny GIF in the hackathon sign up channel, and we'll get you access. But thank you. I'll probably be live later. I feel like this is a really long day for me today. Several interviews. And then I have a mentorship session still. I think in like 30 minutes. And I'm probably going to want to take a break. We're going to play some World of Warcraft tonight when I wind down. And yeah, that's going to be our night. So you should see me again in a little bit. But anyways, have a good rest of your night. Good luck on all of your projects and happy coding.